Right. Give it a minute. Good evening. Give me a second to pull up what I may have missed in the news today. I'm happy to hear that prayer is allowed back in school and kids won't be chastised or punished or expelled. Like some were saying prayer at lunchtime. They weren't even allowed to pray over the blessed of food. But now they are. President Trump has taken care of that. And I got low video output. So hopefully that'll stop in a minute. The buffering will stop. And it's back, but it's still low video output. Maybe it's that time of night where it's real busy. Okay, hopefully it stays green now. So, the coronavirus is now a global epidemic, which I expected it to be. And over 8,000 people have already died in the United States from the regular flu this year already. And they had anticipated it being much worse. It's a different strand they didn't even have a vaccine for yet. And then, which they usually don't when it first comes out, they have to wait to get a portion of the virus to make an antibody or make a vaccine for it from the antibodies that somebody's body builds fighting it. But the coronavirus and the flu, the other flu, whew, good Lord, if somebody gets hit with both of them at the same time, I don't think any antibiotic could rescue them. Only God can. So, all right, let's see what's in the news. while we wait on people to join the talk. And that's not. Give me a second for it to pull out. China reports 9,692 so far. That was 53 minutes ago. Aww, beagle found decapitated in owner's Ohio backyard. 10K offer reward. Poor thing. People are getting sick, man. People are sick. I don't even want to read that. Uh, um, another one? Wow. Anyway. I probably won't be up here long tonight. Unless I get some good participation. I'll just cover some news and say a prayer. I was hoping some people would come in and update me on the news that I've missed today. Oh, a little tired. So I'm glad the kids can pray in school again. You know, I gotta admit, I didn't like Trump when he was first elected, because of comments, the way he's made comments in the past that I viewed as rape and male chauvinistic. But I gotta tell you, it seems like he's done a turnaround. And he's, you know, letting people bring God back into things. And, oh, those are cute little shiny tennis shoes. And, he's doing stuff he said he was gonna do. And he's accomplished quite a bit in his time in office thus far. even with everything that's been thrown at him and all the drama that other people try to keep going, he still has managed to get some things done that are beneficial to a lot of humans. So, good for him. Praise the Lord for his accomplishments. Oh, let's see. Oh, here's someone else striking a dog with a hammer or meat cleaver. For what? I mean, I can see if the dog was trying to attack you, but just like that one, they decapitated that little beagle. For what? It sounds like satanic stuff to me. Oh, they got a new roller coaster. I used to love roller coasters. 9 pounds of matted hair. Good gracious, that poor little doggy. Anyway. So, I read a story yesterday, and I haven't done any more research to validate it, but supposedly overseas, and I won't even name the country, this couple, the husband used to be a female and had a sex change to be a male. And so these two women got married and they adopted a child, I guess, or had, honestly, I don't know that part. They had, whatever. But anyway, so they have this child, 5 years old, and the child, which is a boy, they're taking him in for a sex change to be a girl. And you can't tell me any 5-year-old child knows that they want to be another sex at 5 years old. They might want to play dress up, and they might want to play. It might be a girl wants to play cowboys and Indians and wear boys' clothes and climb trees and play football. It doesn't mean she wants to be a boy. She just wants to be able. She doesn't want to be limited to what they say a girl can do. Well, this little boy, they say he likes to dress up like the princess from the movie Frozen. Well, that this is a 5-year-old kid. It could just be it's pretty and shiny and whatever. He saw the movie and fell in love with the movie, and so he wants, he doesn't understand. So that's fine. Let him dress up as the little Frozen whatever. Fine. But really, a sex change at 5 years old? And then they were complaining about how people have been harassing them and calling it child abuse if they let this kid go through the sex change at 5 years old. I totally agree it's child abuse. Because there's no way a 5-year-old can make a life decision. And that's what that is. That's a life-altering decision. Shame on them. Why? So because she said, well, because I knew when I was young. No. Anyway, and even if you, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Anyway, I know Satan's smiling at stuff like that because, anyway, possible threat not credible after overheard comment about Virginia Beach Municipal Center. Okay. Chicago woman infects spouse with coronavirus. Oh yeah, this is the human to human contact. They're in their 60s. They're both quarantined at the hospital. or in isolation. Okay. Huh. Should have went to world news. It was just panic. Baby found unhurt inside stolen vehicle in Missouri. Look at that cute baby. Oh, well, I'm glad the baby wasn't hurt. It sure is happening a lot. People stealing cars with babies still in them. That baby's so cute. All babies are cute anyway. One of our guys was killed in Afghanistan. Oh yeah, the Super Bowl's coming up soon, isn't it? Aw. Minnesota man convicted of raping and infecting girlfriend's 4-year-old twins. What is wrong with these people? That evil is abundant in the world. That is Satan. That's not God doing that. Satan's doing. That's man's choice. It's man's free will, and this is what he's doing with it. Arturo Macara Gutierrez, 36, was convicted of 4 counts of criminal sexual conduct following a 4-day trial in Ramsey County District Court. He was arrested October 2018 after one of the twins told her grandmother Daddy hurt her. He's not the child's father, but he was dating the twins' mother at the time. The mom took her daughter to the hospital and they tested positive for gonorrhea. Police arrested him after SWAT executed a search warrant at his home and found him hiding in the attic. He denied hurting the girls, but he was charged. He's gonna have fun in prison, isn't he? Forgive me, Lord, but sometimes people deserve some type of. Oh, why won't it scroll? Come on. Scroll, scroll, scroll. Okay. See what's going on in the world. What I missed today. Yeah, I know about the global health emergency. It's about all I know so far for today. Confirmed in Indiana as well? Huh. Okay. Dangerous travel. that was December. Why are they showing that now? Okay. Anyway, I said, I think I'm going to end up keeping this short tonight. Since, I didn't really want to be covering the news as such. I enjoy talking to people about what's going on and how it relates to the prophecies in Scripture. Anyway, I don't know how the Trump trials went today. I haven't looked at any of that yet, and I probably won't tonight. Let's see. So we're going to be in the 60s and almost 70. Probably will hit over 70. Unfortunately, I got to work in the pouring down rain all day Saturday, and it's only going to be in the 50s. So I'm pretty sure I'll be kind of cold. But Monday is going to be 69, and for the rest of that week, it's going to be 60. So beautiful, beautiful. For February, beautiful. Oh, gotta love this biblical warming for now. Anyway, loving it not being. It was cold today, but it was like not bad for a while, and then all of a sudden the temperature felt like it dropped like 25 degrees in a minute. Everybody was saying it got cold all of a sudden. Not like the wind picked up or anything. It just got cold, and it was around about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So it wasn't, because the sun went down. But anyway, oh yeah, I know what I was going to look at. Let's see if there was anything on here. Let's see. Something going on in Colorado. Fire in Texas. Fire in New Jersey. Fire in Pennsylvania. Fire in Colorado. Alright. All the common things. Anyway. Yeah, they told the people that they brought back the Americans that they brought back from China already, that if one of them tests positive for the coronavirus, that they all will be quarantined for 2 weeks. And some of them are upset about it, but they have to, because any of them could be infected and not, you know, um, like the woman that came back from China and gave it to her husband, the couple in their 60s. Well, she came back from China. She felt fine when she came back. She felt fine for 3 days. And on the third day, she started feeling sick. And then, sure enough, she had the coronavirus and she gave it to her husband. So, I mean, if it was me and there was a chance I was infected with it and could, infect other people, I would want to be quarantined. I wouldn't want other people getting sick from it. Yeah, it would not be a fun time to be quarantined for 2 weeks, but the alternative, if some child or elderly person got it and died from it because their system was too weak to get over it, no. Quarantine the people. I mean, back in the olden days, they used to take people to islands and leave them there. That's how quarantine worked then. They removed them from all human contact, which, I mean, that was... Anyway, I'm not going to make a judgment on that either. Um, so, yeah, it's unfortunate if they have to get quarantined, but when you're dealing with such a deadly virus like this, the only way to get a hold on it and try to keep it from devastating the globe is you have to quarantine it. You have to, or it's going to keep it. One person catches it, then another person catches it, and that person goes out to the grocery store, and then they stop at the bank, and then they stop at the gym, and they go pick the kids up from school. Now their kids got it, they go back to school, then other kids, the whole school gets it. It just, if you go back to the Spanish flu that killed 50 million people, it's no joke. And already 8,000 some people have died in the United States from the flu this winter so far. The flu, not this coronavirus. So just think if those two viruses get together and mutate into something else. Good gracious, it'd be like death within an hour if you get it. So yeah, they have to quarantine people. That's nothing new. They used to quarantine people when they had hepatitis A and B back in the day before they had C, D, E, and F. So anyway, that's my opinion on that. We have to pray. We have to pray without ceasing because it's only going to get worse, people. And I'm not saying that to be negative. I'm saying it to be realistic. We're not going to go back to a happier time. And we're going to see more deadly storms. We're going to see tsunamis. We're going to see major earthquakes. We're going to see the seas rise. We're going to see meteors fall from the sky, and we're going to see all kinds of plagues and viruses. And I mean, come on now, athlete's foot's done turned into a deadly flesh-eating disease, a mutation from it. So for those of you that don't or say you don't believe in God, just ask him if he's there or not. It won't hurt you. And like Raven was saying last night, try it. Try it for a week. If you don't like, you know, following the rules and getting to know God, you can always change back to being evil or empty or whatever. But try it. It can only benefit you. It won't hurt you. That I promise you. But try it and watch God move in your life. Because he will. If you seek him wholeheartedly, he will. Faith of a mustard seed can move a mountain. Oh. And when it gets really bad and he pulls the Holy Spirit from here, oh, brother. Woman who accused Donald Trump of rape is seeking a DNA sample. Really? That's got to be a joke. Let's see if it is. January 30th. Advice columnist E. Jean Carroll said her black Donna Karan brand jacket dress has hung in her closet for more than 20 years, ever since the day that she alleges President Trump raped her in a dressing room. And now, after many years of not being used, Carroll says the dress may be the key to proving who the perpetrator of her assault really is. Carroll's lawyer said in court filings on Thursday that they have found that her dress contains unidentified DNA evidence, and they are now demanding that Trump submit a sample for comparison. Oh, isn't that some bull malarkey? That is just that's ridiculous. I'm sorry. I don't buy that one at all. And even the wording's wrong here. And now, after many years of not being used, Carroll says the dress may be the key to proving who the perpetrator of her assault really is. Meaning, what do you mean really is? Did she say it was someone else before? There's something wrong with that sentence. That's not what you would say if you knew who supposedly raped you 20 years ago. And really, you're going to hold on to it till now? You didn't bring it out when he was running for office or when he was doing the fired show on TV? Really? Come on now. Even if you have DNA on a dress, I mean, because you can get someone's DNA all kinds of ways. And, you know, it doesn't have to be semen. on the DNA on her dress. But you can get people's DNA. Anyway, none of that would prove rape. I don't even buy that one. And anytime women falsely claim rape, it hurts women that actually have been abused. The news of the court filings were first reported to the Associated Press. This dress has been tested. We have the results. My attorney has served notice to real Donald Trump's attorney to submit a sample of Trump's DNA. Washington Post. Okay, why are they saying at real Donald Trump's? Why are they? This says for the Twitter account. If you're actually serving papers to Donald Trump's lawyer, it wouldn't be through Twitter. This whole thing stinks. I call bull malarkey. Who is she anyway? Salute, I'm suing Donald Trump. Advice columnist for... She wrote a book, What Do We Need Men For? She says, the most dangerous woman is a woman who has nothing to lose, and the most dangerous man is a man who has everything to lose. Alright. She sounded a bit chauvinist herself. Alright. I don't even want to give her that much airtime. That's just crazy. um, I think I'm done reading the news for today. It's going to be crazy stuff like that. Oh, alright. Alright. Well, it's 39 right now. It feels colder than that out there today, though. Alright, I'll give it a couple more minutes. And if I don't get my... Oh, gun control bill moves forward in Virginia. Let's see what that says. Democrats passed bills requiring universal background checks, temporary bans on firearm ownership by people considered dangerous. Okay, well, that's fair. Background checks are fair. The Virginia House passed several gun control bills Thursday, including universal background checks and a red flag measure to remove firearms temporarily from people deemed dangerous. That's fair to me. I know a lot of people that lose their temper too much and don't need to have guns because they pulled them out on people, and it's so easy, and it's too late once you pull that trigger, man. It's too late. Even if you wanted to stop it. I mean, and the road rage itself, I always have to worry about if some idiot that can't control his temper has his gun with him because he's going to shoot somebody. That has happened so much. I think I think everybody should have to take a psychiatric test, a psychological evaluation, and pass it. Honestly, because too many people that don't have a criminal background are nuts, and they have anger issues, and so why not? Anyway, versions of versions of some of the measures also have passed the Senate, but with the difference with the differences, the two Democratic-led chambers will need to iron out before sending the bills to Governor Northam, a Democrat who has been pushing for tougher gun laws. Pushing for tougher gun laws, but pushing for 9-month abortions. All right, that's a bit. Virginia Assembly votes abortion. All right, let's see what that says. Virginia Assembly votes abortion, phone use by drivers, concealed carry discrimination. Um, to repeal some abortion restrictions, to require concealed carry permit training be done in person, and to ban handheld cell phone use by drivers. The Senate voted to repeal abortion restrictions imposed by Republicans, including a 24-hour waiting mandatory a 24-hour waiting period. So they're repelling that. They don't think that a woman should have to wait 24 hours before she decides to take the life of an innocent child. Wow. Um, and they repel the mandatory ultrasound. Wow. In the Senate, the baby just has absolutely no chance at all. They're not even giving the woman a minute to think about it. Wow. Mm-mm-mm. In the Senate, the bill only passed after Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax broke a 2020 tie, which was created when Senate Joe Morrissey, a Richmond Democrat, joined Republicans to oppose the measure. The Senate version is slightly different from the bill approved by the House, which includes physicians' assistants among those authorized to perform abortions in certain cases. The Senate bill doesn't mention them. The differences are expected to be worked out so the bills can be passed by the end of the session in March. But the chambers are mostly focused on their own bills for now. Less than 2 weeks remain until the crossover deadline, when the bills must pass at least one chamber to remain alive for the year. Road safety measures. Drivers would no longer be allowed to hold a phone behind the wheel under a measure that has nearly become law in the past years and passed the Senate again Wednesday. The bill has exceptions for emergency vehicles, parked vehicles, and drivers reporting an emergency. This problem today is an epidemic. And the problem isn't the ones holding the phone to their ear talking. It's the ones holding it in their lap where you can't see it at texting. It's the people trying to text and drive that are all over the road. I seen a woman with her kids in the car. I thought she was drunk. I was going to call the police on this drunk woman. And when I get up to her at the light, she's texting with 3 kids in the car. Um, all you got to do is look to your left and right, and while you're driving down the road, and you will see somebody with a device in their hand looking at. Yeah. The proposal is also included in a wider-ranging transportation bill that could come up for vote. The Senate also approved a bill that would make handheld cell phone use by drivers illegal in school zones. Okay, I'd go for that too. Another road safety bill passed by the Senate would allow implement speeding fines that are $15 higher in zones along US 15 and US 17 where there are significant safety issues. A more procedural bill approved 89-8 in the House would remove the requirement to honk when passing another car on the right. The House has also voted to give local governments more time to create regulations for shared dockless bikes and scooters. Okay. The House voted 54-36 Wednesday to recognize global warming has created a climate and ecological emergency. The Senate also approved a bill that would ban offshore drilling in Virginia, as well as the state support of permits for offshore facilities or pipelines that would help carry such oil or gas. Other House resolutions that prompted at least one Republican opposition included 60-30 vote to designate June 1st year as Gun Violence Awareness Day. 58 to 23 vote to designate November 20th of each year Transgender Day of Remembrance. Wow. Hi, Elijah. How are you, sweetheart? I'm sorry, I wasn't looking at the room for a minute. I was reading the crazy stuff they're voting in Virginia. Are you still with me? Can you hear me? I'm blessed. I'm a little tired. Getting a little frustrated reading the news. I know that. I'm glad Trump brought the right to pray back in school. Um, no, yeah, I haven't heard 30. I just read the news on that. The last that was updated an hour ago. There's a couple in their 60s and not on the East Coast, not in Florida. Um, she got back from China and she was fine, and 3 days later she came down with symptoms, and she went to the hospital and she has the coronavirus and her husband has it. So they said it's the first human to human transfer of the coronavirus in the U.S. And so that's the I haven't heard anything about 30. Yeah, anyway, so there's the 200 Americans that they brought back from China already. They told them that they've tested everyone, and they told them if anybody tests positive that they're going to make them all stay in quarantine for 2 weeks. And there's some people getting mad about it, but that's, yeah. So this is deadly. It's killed 180 people in China already that we know of. The numbers might be higher than that. They got almost 10,000 people infected with it that they're reporting. It it I forgot the number, but I was hearing it earlier today on how fast it is spread. It is spread faster than anything that they've seen. But we've already had 8,000 people die here in the United States this winter, from the flu that's going around. Not the coronavirus, but from the flu. They said it's the same strain from the 1918, when the Spanish flu. Because, they got HN1, HN2, HN... Anyway, so this is before the coronavirus came about. They were already talking about how deadly they thought the flu season was going to be this year in America. And so now, imagine if these two viruses got together and mutated. Anyway, we know what Scripture tells us about the pestilence, and I think it's gonna be bad. This coronavirus and this flu, this influenza that's already here and killed 8,000 people in the United States this year. Between the two of them, good gracious. So yeah, there's people mad that, okay, I'll wait for you to take your meds. Oh, let's see. Okay. So one House resolution that prompted at least some Republican opposition included a 60 to 30 vote to designate June 1st as Gun Violence Awareness Day. A 58 to 23 vote designated November 20th each year as Transgender Day. And a 60-21 vote for a resolution affirming Virginia's commitment to diversity and safeguarding the civil rights and dignity of all Virginians, except for the babies. GOP leader, Delegate Todd Gilbert, tried to strip that last resolution down to just the title, but that effort was rejected. The rest of the resolution addresses racism, hate crimes, Islamophobia, discrimination based on sexual orientation, gender, or gender identity, and the rise of hateful and intolerant acts. Well, wouldn't you call wanting to kill a baby that's been growing inside you from 9 months a hateful act? Welcome back. So I was just reading some of the crazy stuff that they're passing in Virginia. If I could, I'd move from here. They have lost their mind. So they voted to remove the 24-hour waiting period on these late-term abortions. They voted to repeal the ultrasound for these late-term abortions. So, they're saying that unborn child has no rights at all, but they voting in uh, resolutions that address racism, hate crimes, discrimination based on sexual orientation, gender or gender identity, and the rise of hateful and intolerant acts. But you don't think it's hateful to abort a baby that's been carried for 9 months? That's something wrong with that. Yeah, I know. I agree with you, Elijah. After outrage over state prison policies, the Senate passed 2 bills outlining the rules for visitors at state correctional facilities. One bill would require notice of any terms banned for visitors, blah, blah, blah. The Senate would also restrict strip searches of any visitors under 18. Yeah. Huh. The House approved a bill that would ban alcohol for anyone attending any public school event. Yeah, I thought that was already in effect. Hmm. Okay. Yeah, Virginia's lost their mind. That's all I know. Well, yeah. I mean, they voted these people in. So did you hear about the woman that claims she's had her 20-year-old dress tested for DNA and wants Donald Trump to take a DNA test because now she's claiming he raped her 20 years ago? Yeah, I just read it. You can go back and watch the show later. It's at the beginning of this show. Yeah, she I mean, she wrote some kind of book about men and anyway, yeah, so she claims that 20 years that she has a dress with his DNA on it from 20 years ago, and that her lawyer had it tested, had the DNA tested, so now they're trying to make Donald Trump submit his DNA, and then it says up there that they contacted him at the real Donald Trump at Twitter. And what kind of sense does that make? Yeah, I agree, Elijah. I agree. We're seeing so much happen so quickly, and the world is just getting, oh my gosh, eviler by the day, crazier by the day. And I mean, we see the signs in the sun, the moon, the stars, and the oceans and the earthquakes, and we see all of that. And then, but the evilness and good being called evil and evil being called good is so, everything is so inside out backwards. And I mean, it can't get much worse, you know? I mean, we know it's going to get worse, but you know what I'm saying? We're so there. But Donald Trump changed it. You know how they were chastising and punishing kids for prayer and stuff like that at school? Well, they fought that, and the amendment, I mean, the Constitution, when it says the separation of church and state, meant that the government can't interfere with your religious rights. Not, you can't have religious rights in public buildings. So now the kids can pray in school again because they couldn't even pray at lunchtime. There was a boy that got expelled from school. They had their 15-minute free reading time. This was a couple of years ago. Free reading time. Bring whatever book you want and read it in your free reading time. So he brought his Bible, and he was expelled for that. Well, Trump just reversed that, so that's a good thing. Yes, yes, they will. They will be sorry. I just pray everyone wakes up before it's too late, because at some point it will be too late. And I think we're getting close to that. Well, I'm glad you came back, and I was hoping that you didn't. I was hoping that you understood where we were coming from last night with the thing when we were talking about excess of money, or excess of lavishness, and not sharing and helping fellow man. It's all that we meant by that. Not that it's something wrong with somebody having money or being richer than others. Yeah, I think a lot of people. I'm gonna tell you, I don't think Donald Trump was close to being a Christian when he first went into office. I think that whatever whatever he got privy to on what's really going on in the world and what's coming in from the cosmos, I think that I think he's like, oh, I better get to know God. This if we make it through this next presidential election, it's what a trip that's going to be to see. No, yeah, and I don't think they should. It's like one of the commandments is not to bear false witness and to we're not supposed to be uh, judging people like that. Yeah, I think there'll be a 2021, but I think that it's going to be 80% worse than it is now. I think it's going to be rough. It might not be. I mean, we know that we're not far off. Yeah, I know what you meant by that. Because we're at the point where no flesh. Jesus said he would hurry the days lest no flesh be saved or be left. So, we're getting so close to that. It's wild. Oh, I didn't read if any coyotes attacked people today because that's been 'Okay, Google, coyote attacks. You just hope you've been in prayer all week and fasting and praying for people in China too, and your daughter to love you again. How old's your daughter? 21. Why did y'all fall out? Or a coyote attacks a skier in Yellowstone. It's another one. Another coyote, a young coyote, attacks a woman skiing. Kids rebellion, and you could have done better. Became disabled. So that was 5 years ago, so she was still a teenager at the time, right? Yeah. Well, y'all had a close relationship prior to that? Yes and no. Do you want to call in? Oh, okay. It just takes so long when I have to wait to read the type response. And then it takes a moment before you hear my reply. Um, so what was the no parts about? Was that because she was, um, as all children do when they develop, when they become, once they go through puberty, they get what's called the analytical mind, which is the adult mind. And even when they can be 12 or they can be 15, it depends, on the child. But once all the rest of the neurons and all the little connections happen in the brain and the hormones kick in, they get the same mind that adults have. And one day you can tell them something and they're fine with it. And then all of a sudden they're angry because you told them that. And but yesterday it didn't bother them at all. And they don't even know why. All of a sudden they don't know why they feel like they feel. But so the battle usually happens then is when we think we've lost our children forever because they're, like I said, they don't even realize what's going on. They're battling for independence, and because now they have the adult mind, but they don't have the adult experiences. And so the rebellion and stuff comes from that, when they feel like they have the right to make their own decisions on what they should be able to do and not. Um, you've been praying for her to forgive you. Forgive you for what? Okay, so have you told her you were sorry? Good gracious, 24 different meds. That's I thought I was on a lot of different meds before I quit going to the doctors. 24, that's a lot. I would dare to venture to say that was too many because they had to conflict with each other. And we don't want to see each other. So you don't want to see her? You might have said some words that you regret now, so you're not even sure if you regret the words that you said? Yeah, that's a big difference. 24 meds to 1. You know, I don't know, but it seems like maybe you haven't quite forgiven her. And so y'all would both have to forgive each other, literally forgive each other, and put the past in the past and start fresh. You you do well. Have you told her you regret the words? I don't think that you have forgave her. Well, at 21, I mean, she might not come home. You know, most most children when they become adults, they don't want to live with their parents. No matter how much they love them, they don't want to live with them. So, I mean, did she move to another state or something? Or you don't know where she is? You have no way. You don't know anybody that she knows that could get a message to her from you. Like you couldn't write her a lovely letter and have somebody give it to her. Oh, I got you. Come back to your life. Yeah. Well, you just, you said come home, so I thought you meant come home, come home. I got you. There's got to be someone that you know that knows where she is. And so even if they don't tell them, they don't have to share that with you, but if they could pass on a letter from you and just tell her you're there waiting for her to contact you. What about her mother? Cousins, aunts, uncles? Nobody keeps in touch? High school friends? Email address? Have you tried to find her on Facebook or any other social media platform? Wow. Well, We're not talking about stalking. We're talking about you looking for your daughter that you haven't heard from in years, right? That's not stalking. That's your child you're looking for. So you can mend a relationship. Well, as long as you're comfortable with that. She calls it stalking? Wow. Yeah. All we can do is pray then that she knows in her heart how much her parents love her, and that even parents make mistakes. And she probably, as she gets older, she will realize um, that she made mistakes as well. And you think she's pressured by her boyfriend? Yeah, that could be. But that'll change too as she matures. I guess, but the main thing is to pray for her soul and that she knows Yeshua as her Savior. No matter what transpires here on earth, you want to be able to bond with her again in heaven. And I only say it that way because I feel like our time is short here too. So there's going to be some relationships that don't get mended. There may not be time for some of them. But that's why forgiveness is important. You forgive her 100%, of course. You think she is saved, but not her. Oh, her boyfriend. Yeah. Well, maybe she can, teach him about the loving grace. Yeah, you have to pray for her boyfriend too. Well, good. Good. I'm glad you found that forgiveness for him because I understand that as a parent. I truly understand that. um, I've been there a few times. We don't want to see anybody that's not good for our child, that isn't the best. And of course, who we would pick for them isn't usually who they would pick for them, but maybe there was something to the olden days when, no, when the spouses got picked for people, but that's not true because they forced people to marry people they didn't love. And only a union is brought together by God is going to stand the test of time anyway. Your 18-year-old's getting married Saturday. Yeah, my daughter got married the first time at 18. I definitely had empty nest syndrome. I couldn't stand it because they moved out of state because he was in the military, and I was so heartbroken and so lost. Because, we had that 18-year bond, and then all of a sudden, the person you had this close relationship with every day for 18 years is gone. That was rough. And I didn't even have a pet at the time, so I didn't have a cat or dog or anything. And I was like, oh, this is horrible. You're not picking him up? Why not? Oh, he's coming in from Korea. Oh, is now picking him up. Okay. Yeah, I guess I can understand that. That's how, um, when people are really young, that's how they are. When they get older, then, they want to involve their parents and stuff, but when they're that age, yeah. So is he going to be stationed in your hometown? So at least that they'll be there for a while? So was there any big earthquakes today? Because I haven't checked that in the news yet. Let's see. Okay, Google, today's earthquakes. 5.7 in Papua New Guinea. That's common. Solomon, that's common. Cayman Islands, that's common. But these are getting pretty big everywhere. 6.0, 6.1, 5.7, 6.3, 6.1, and ooh, in Alaska. 5.0, 4.6 in Barstow, California. Wow. You heard New York has a law in effect now that if you look at the stars, you need a permit. That doesn't make sense. From different sources. This time I just Googled it so I could glance at it real quick. Um, from the USGS and from the ones overseas and let's see, what is the one that I have saved that I usually use on the show? It is um, yeah, it's USGS. And then I have several sites that I watch all the crazy weather with. Oh yeah, I didn't look at whatchamacallit the last few days. Yeah, I don't know about it being against the law to look at, or you need a permit to look at stars. That doesn't even make any sense. There's no way they could enforce that, so it wouldn't even make sense to implement it. Um, where's the site I want? Open, new tab. I mean, how could they enforce a law that you can't look at the stars? But you know, the world's crazy enough. I couldn't I couldn't say that would be impossible because I've seen some unbelievable things happening. But it just sounds like a ludicrous idea for them. All right, let's see if anything strange is on these. It's probably got a bunch of time cut. Nope, that looks pretty uneventful. That one hasn't loaded yet. Well, one day last week, I did a video on it. Oh my gosh, I have never seen. This thing was covered everywhere in huge, huge meteors and whatever stuff lighting up the sky. It was crazy. Alright, let's try the other one. We'll look at this and then I might be closing out after that so I can do what I need to do. Alright, let's see what the solar wind speeds are. Oh, they're getting back up there. Almost 500. Let's see what this stuff looks like. Oh yeah, look. Almost hit a G1. Well, let's see what else is going on. Huh. Let's see if this thing is Oh, I didn't even check these to see if they had any missing data. Because the other day they were missing all, but they, out of a 24-hour loop, they only showed 3 point some hours of footage on all of them. So they were missing 21 plus hours of footage for whatever reason. Let's see. Yeah, they're missing 4 hours of footage on this one. So there's no telling what happened in that time frame. Looks like there's a lot of footage missing on this one. Okay, so let's scroll down and check out the rest of the stuff. This is what we want to look at right here. Up. I scrolled too fast. Yeah, we got up in the yellow here. So, oh, some people are getting a nice aurora borealis. Oh, that's dipping pretty low, too. Now, maybe we should watch that for a moment. See how low it dips. Because I'm looking at it right there. It looks like it's pretty close to the top of Virginia. But we'll have to see once it starts moving. Takes a minute to load. Oops. Yeah, that's good enough. Trying to see how close it gets. Wonder how Spencer of the North is doing up there in Canada. And Patrick. And, is it Karen Mitchell? I think she was in Canada too. No, it doesn't get close enough for us to see. Anyway, that's not what I really wanted to look at. Though I'd love to see the Great Northern Lights. This is what we want to see. And looks like, oh yeah, see, we were in the red here. That's why we had the spike. And we're going to have it again here. Yep, up in the 600s for Earth. Yeah, we're going to go into another G1 by, let's see when this red hits. Let's see. And looks like the red, because this is the Earth right here. And looks like the 3rd. So on the 3rd, we'll be in the red. We'll be in the red for over a day and a half. And then we got another one coming right behind it. So the dark blue's the lowest, the lighter blue's higher, green's higher, yellow's higher, red. I guess we don't ever want to see it go into white. The Earth would definitely be in trouble with that. All the signs are lining up. So yeah, the animals will be acting crazy, and there will be some more earthquakes, and there will be some internet interference and all kinds of stuff. Oh wow. Yeah, the red actually is gonna put us up 600 up to 800. That's 900 there. It starts to white. So, yep. Alright. Well, let's see if they're predicting one. They don't always predict it ahead of time. But we got close today. And it hasn't been in the red yet. It was just in the yellow, so we probably will be in a G1 or G2 with all that red. But let's see what they're predicting. Below 4, so it's got to be a 5 to be a G1 and a 6 to be a G2. Well, it looks like they're not predicting anything. But see, they only predict up until the 31st on this, and what we're looking at coming on the 3rd, they don't cover that part yet. They only predict 3 days at a time as far as their prediction of geomagnetic storms. But as like I said, you can see this is already up almost. Well, it went down 10 kilometers, but I'm sure it's going to fluctuate back and forth. So it'll go down tonight and it'll pick back up sometime in the morning. So I'm sure we'll have solar winds over 600, 700. Yeah, they're not predicting anything for the next 3 days. But it's still going to be probably right below a G1. And then probably around the 3rd, it'll be a G1 or 2. And it looks like it'll last at least a day and a half. So, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see the typing. You have that link too? Um, are you leaving us? You have a blessed night. And thank you for joining us. And on that note, I think I'm going to call it a night. It's 11:12. No, it's 11:17. Yeah. Holy Father, in the name of precious Yeshua, we thank you for all your blessings. We thank you for your patience, your love and grace, and your understanding and your forgiveness. And we thank you, most of all, for our Messiah. It gives us a chance to make it into heaven and have eternity and to know peace beyond understanding. And we thank you, and we ask that you touch everyone's heart, soul, and mind, that they seek the truth and they find you. And we ask that you guide us, that we say the right things, that your will be done through us. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord in Yeshua's name. Amen. All right. All right, good people. Have a beautifully blessed night. thank you for joining us. See y'all tomorrow.